Hey there, Survivor fans. This is Kevin from the Super Fun Time Show, and we're here to talk about more Survivor and give a little bit of information on the two major advantages that have just been brought up in the past episode of Survivor 44, which was the premiere episode. These are the two advantages that were found by Sarah and also by Lauren when they went off to their wonderful island excursion where they could potentially risk their vote in order to get an advantage. Although this time around, Probst didn't make it easy on the contestants. He made everyone risk their vote in order to play this little game, which Maddie B lost twice and doesn't have a vote for the next two tribal councils. Then Lauren and Sarah, thankfully, ended up winning theirs. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the advantage that Lauren ended up getting. Lauren ended up getting the bank your vote advantage. Now, this is an advantage that allows a contestant to be able to not vote in one tribal council and keep that parchment instead, so that they can use it in a future tribal council. And specifically, this can be used up until there are 7 players left in the game. You would think that at this point, it would be most valuable right now if she feels as though she would be in trouble of some type on the very small Ratu tribe, who is down to 5 people now, or near the end of the game when you're around 7 and you need to make some kind of big move and the numbers are pretty low, where one vote can really change the game entirely. There was only one other time when someone on Survivor has been able to use a bank your vote type advantage, because these things are cyclical. Probst doesn't like to let go of some of these ideas. This was Lauren Rimmer from season 35, Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. She ended up getting this advantage, had to abstain from voting at a tribal council so that she could use that vote later on in the game, just like Lauren has presented in front of her right now. So even though it's only been used one time before, it's fairly new for the most part. And we're going to see if Lauren's going to be able to use this effectively, because unfortunately, Lauren's luck didn't end up going too great, even with such an advantage in a game like that. Now, the next one, and this is brand new, and this is the one I think there's a lot more confusion around. This is the advantage that Sarah had gotten, which is called the inheritance advantage. You've heard of the legacy advantage before in Survivor, where you were able to get immunity of some type, and if you get voted out, you have to pass it along to someone else. I know this sounds very familiar, but it's not the same thing at all. What this advantage lets you do is, if you take it up to the voting booth and you say, I am playing my inheritance advantage, you are gambling that once the votes are read or what has been played during the actual voting process itself, other than shots in the dark, you are going to inherit all of those things. So that means if someone goes into that voting booth during that time and puts an idol nullifier in there and plays it, that means that you are going to get that at the end. If someone plays an immunity idol, you are going to get that. If 2 people play an immunity idol, you are going to get that. If someone plays an extra vote, like the bank your vote advantage from Lauren, she can get that. So Sarah has amazing potential to have the greatest advantage in the history of Survivor. There's some people talking about it online, calling it the vacuum advantage, because it's true. Really, you play it, and if you play it right, you suck up all the power in the game. Now, there's still shot in the dark and everything that people can utilize, but those are so rare that they're going to work out anyway. It's almost never happened. Last episode was the first time they actually worked. It's important to point out that Sarah can't play this after everyone's already played all their idols and stuff like that. She has to go to the voting booth and say, I am playing the inheritance advantage. And then from there, she could play completely wrong. It's possible no one will play anything at that tribal and she loses her inheritance advantage. Now, what I think will be key is, will Probst say anything about anyone playing the inheritance advantage? If he does, I think it gets really intriguing for people, even if there's nothing that gets played. They're going to be like, whoa, Sarah was a bigger player than I thought in this game. Or how big a fool Sarah is by blowing the inheritance advantage. This is the kind of thing that I would hope for good TV Probst would mention to the castaways, but you never know when it comes to Probst, truthfully. And again, just like Lauren's, this advantage can only be played up until there are 7 players left in the game. But this advantage, unlike Lauren's, I think is one that you would want to hold on to for a really long time. Ideally, I think you would use it and you would spring it around merge time once it hits 10, 11, something like that, and she catches wind of any advantages being played, she's got to hit that. At the same time, once you do that, everyone in the game knows that you have all the power. Now, chances are unlikely that you're going to have another one of these inheritance advantages up your sleeve, so you're going to have a lot of enemies against you, and you better hope that you play correctly from then on. Sarah seems like she has a really good head on her shoulders, so that may not be an issue for her. However, there's a lot of power there. I do think the bank your vote advantage is actually less powerful than just the plain old extra vote advantage that has been around for quite a while in Survivor. Dan Foley and Worlds Apart had an extra vote. Fishback had an extra vote. Tai Trang had an extra vote. Lauren had to get rid of 1 vote for a tribal council in order to get the later vote, which they did not have to do. And that was a very pivotal vote because the Ratu tribe, it took one vote to get someone voted out of the game, which was Maddie. So even though Lauren was not in danger, she did lose a vote and it changed the game. So I would probably argue it's actually less powerful than some of the votes in the past. But that's the summation of those two advantages that have been introduced to the game. I think we have more advantages that will be coming in the upcoming episodes of Survivor 44, but we're not there quite yet. However, I do know a lot of people are not sure about how these advantages work, and I wanted to relay to you in a very succinct way. This is how they work, and this is when they can be played, and that's really what it comes down to. But that's going to do it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have you more questions about any of these advantages? Would you like me to go over advantages from the past? I would love to talk about it with you no matter what. And please hit the subscribe button to this channel. I'm just starting out, but I'm really happy to continue making videos. I'm an old school fan, so I would love to chat with you about Survivor forever and ever. And hopefully we'll have some Castaway interviews as well, where we can have some unique dialogue about the current game, previous game, and some family stuff. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing day, everyone. You take care. And remember, I've spoken.